today we're going to work on question number 3 in our gradient and topographic maps lab. So the question is asking, on the grid, construct a topographic profile along line AB, line AB is right here, by plotting the elevation of each contour line that crosses line AB. Points A and B have already been plotted, so notice that they already gave me the plots for point A and B. Connect all 10 plots with a line, starting at A and ending at B to complete the profile. So the first thing I need to do is find AB, and it's right here. And the next thing I need to do is figure out the elevation of each contour line that's crossing through line AB and write them down. So it looks like A is 4,000, and it doesn't tell me what B is, but I see that this is 3,000 here, and that tells me that my elevation is going lower as I'm going towards this way, towards the southeast. And my contour interval is 200 feet. That tells me that my elevation is decreasing by 200 feet with each line as I'm going towards the southeast. So let's write these elevations down. That means if A is 4,000, right? A is 4,000. Then my elevation is decreasing by 200 every line. Then this must be 3,800, this line, 3,800. And that means this line must be 3,600. And that means this line must be 3,400. This line must be 3,200. And finally, this line is 3,000 right here, right? So 3,000. Okay, so this is 3,800, 3,600, 3,400, 3,200, 3,000. But we need to keep going because there are more lines crossing through A and B. Notice that this is 3,000, but this part that's crossing, this line that's crossing through AB here is also 3,000. So I'm going to write that down, 3,000. This part is the same exact line that I marked earlier, is 3,200. This line, I did not mark this line earlier. If this is 3,200, notice that now I'm going from 3,000 to 3,200, and that tells me that I'm actually increasing, right? My elevation is increasing this way. So here's 3,400, and I'm increasing by 200 feet, and this is 3,600. So this is interesting because notice that my elevation just decreased this way from 4,000 up to 3,000, and then it's 3,000 again, and my elevation is increasing this way. This gives me a hint that I'm in a valley, meaning an area between two hills. Notice that this is a hill and this is a hill, meaning this area should actually be lower than the surrounding areas. I'm gonna go ahead and write valley here because I'm noticing that this is a lower elevation area between two hills, and valleys will have a lower dip on my topographic profile because my elevation should be lower here. So whenever there's rivers and whenever there's valleys, an area between two hills, and you're noticing that the elevation is lower and the surrounding areas are getting higher and higher, that tells you that the side profile will be a lower area dip in your topographic profile. If you see circles like hills, and if you see that your elevation based on your surrounding area, that your elevation is actually increasing, then that area will be a higher dip on your map. So you have to look at your surrounding areas to figure out whether your dip will be lower or higher. So now that I have all my marks, I can take my scrap paper and align it under line AB. And I'm going to mark all the lines that are crossing through line AB and writing their elevations down. Here's A. Here's B. A is, I said, was 4,000. And B, I said, was 3,600. And then I'm going to mark all the lines that are passing through line A and B. And then I'm going to write down all their elevations. So this is 3,800, 3,600, 3,400, 3,200, 3,000. I'm also going to write down, notice, actually right here, when I write 3,000 here, remember I wrote down that there's a valley in between. I'm also going to write that down in between 3,000, both these 3,000s. Valley, 3,200, 3,400, and 3,600 finally. Now I have all my marks, and I'm going to create a topographic profile in my little plotting area over here. I'm going to align A and B with my bottom area. And I'm just going to mark the elevations based on the distances that I already marked down, right? So A is 4,000. And they already marked that for me. They also marked B for me. So this area right here is 3,800. You don't have to draw the dashed lines like I'm doing. I'm just showing you. This area is 3,600. This area is 3,400. The spacing has to be exactly like the map. That's why it's important that you don't skip the scrap paper part. This area, oops, I made a mistake. This area is 3,000. This area is also 3,000. This area is 3,200. This area is 3,400. And finally B, they already plotted. Now that I have all my markings, I'm not going to remove my scrap paper just yet because I have a valley here, and that's important to note when I'm connecting my dots. So I'm going to start from 4,000. I'm going to connect all my dots. I'm never going to make a straight horizontal line. I'm either going to curve upwards or downwards. And since these marks are the same, these are the same elevation, and I'm seeing that there's a valley here, a place between two hills, I'm going to curve downwards, but not touch the other line. You're always only going to curve towards up to the middle part. And then I'm going to connect the rest of the dots. And your topographic profile should look like this. This is showing, this is the top view of my map, and this is the side view of my map. I have two hills and a small valley area. And that's it for now. Bye.